I watched the Fantastic Four trailer and I feel ancient, just really, really ancient. Hi. Okay, so the Fantastic Four trailer it dropped this morning, and I want to talk briefly about it. We're gonna have a quick look at it. Now, I want to talk about this. Is actually kind of bizarrely coincidental for me in my own personal life. Tomorrow is my birthday, and I am reaching an unmentionable number. And I watched the Fantastic Four trailer, and I feel ancient, just really, really ancient. I quite enjoyed the original Fantastic Four movie. I didn't watch the sequel, but I enjoyed the first one, the one with Ewan Griffith and Michael Chiklis and Jessica Alba and Chris Evans, the current Captain America. And I think the reason I liked it was it was silly, and it was harmless, and it was inoffensive, and it didn't take itself very seriously. It wasn't a pretentious superhero film at all. If you read my blog regularly, you know that I'm not really a comic book person, and I'm not a comic book movie fan, mostly because I find them in the recent examples to be fairly kind of ponderous and self-important and pretentious, and stupid. And so I like the original Fantastic Four film with Ewan Griffith and company because it didn't really seem to take itself very seriously. Um, that doesn't seem to be the case with this new trailer for the new movie. It's a teaser trailer. The film stars Miles Teller, who I'm sure his days of playing teenagers was behind him. And it also stars Kate Mara, and it stars Jamie Bell and Michael B. Jordan. And so it looks very self-important. It looks very kind of interstellar-ish in terms of its tone, and it looks to be kind of really aiming for something serious. I'm not really sure that that material really kind of deserves that sort of attention. And so for me, I'm looking at basically a bunch of kid scientists, in this movie. So obviously, I'm not the demographic for this at all because I'm now out, or tomorrow, I will be ancient. I'll be even more ancient than I am already. So I'm quite depressed actually about watching this. But I'm depressed because it just doesn't look like it looks like they're really trying to make this a somber, important and serious origin story for the comic book movie. They already actually are in pre-production for the sequel, um, even though this film isn't opening until August. So they're obviously anticipating it's going to do well enough to justify a sequel. For me, the most interesting thing about it, apart from seeing Miles Teller, who I think is a very talented actor, I'm sure he's kind of very eager to start playing grown-ups, and he obviously has to wait a couple more years for that to happen. And apart from that, the great Tim Blake Nelson is in this. I think you actually see the back of his head in the trailer. So yes, Fantastic Four, and maybe I'm going to buy myself a birthday gift and simply not go and see the film. I'll make that my birthday gift to myself. I'm probably being a bit too harsh, and listen, I am not the demographic for this. I'm sure it could be lots of fun, but it does look to me to be far more serious and somber than it needs to be, and which is unfortunate. And I also really don't quite understand why Fox wants to make this film, other than obviously the desire to make lots of money. I mean, it's been less than 10 years since we had the Fantastic Four films. But of course, Fox doesn't really own very many superhero movies. It owns the Fantastic Four, and it owns the X-Men and a couple of others, and doesn't really own much else in terms of comic book movie property. Sony owns Spider-Man, and basically Marvel Studios owns everything else. So you'll never see, Spider-Man showing up in an Avengers film, or any of the Fantastic Four showing up in an Avengers film. And so because Marvel, is continuing to churn out all its comic book movies over the next several years, obviously Fox feels it has to compete, and they can only make so many X-Men movies, because those are big, big projects. And Fantastic Four really does feel like a sort of, like the kind of second tier superhero in comparison to the X-Men, and certainly in comparison to the Avengers. I think one of the curious things about this iteration of the Fantastic Four film, and I think really probably why it's helping me feel so bloody old, is the fact that they're kind of skewing for, like I say, an even younger cast, an even younger sort of set of characters. I mean, as silly as the Avengers films are, having actors like Downey Jr. and Ruffalo in it, who are both basically in their 40s, lends a certain kind of middle-aged gravitas to the proceedings. And so, as nonsense as they are, you do take them a bit more seriously just because the actors involved, are basically grown-ups. Miles Teller, as I say, is probably desperate to play grown-ups. He's basically been playing like high school kids and drunken college kids his entire career. He's actually, I think, 30 years of age in real life, but he's kind of blessed with young-looking looks. Bastard. The Fantastic Four. So I'm not overly enthusiastic. It'll probably do very, very well, and I wish it the very best of luck. They're already planning a sequel, so obviously they've got high hopes. I don't. Anyway, so yes, happy birthday to me.